Well, I had some lunch meat for dinner last night, and I forgot lunch meat can be a trigger, especially when you pair it with fancy imported cheese. I think that was a bad call. But it was delicious. It was a delicious dinner. I like to bring a couple of options for dinner and then, decide in the break room what I'm going to have. Now, I did do something important recently. I ordered one of those migraine rings. The company is AUVULIS, Avulus. And the ring was $30. And you wear it on your right index finger. And my headaches are way down. Way down. I used to wake up feeling like this every single day. This is unusual now. And it's like more of a sinus thing, really. It's like right here. The migraine tends to be right here or like all around. So, this I can knock out with a hot shower, some eucalyptus oil, stuff like that. But, so it's interesting. And I also, a few things that happened in my personal life. I haven't exactly had one of those things where it felt like at the end of uh, an officer and a gentleman, where he sweeps into the plant where she works and carries her off into the sunset. Nothing like that. But I always, Ron always told me for years, 29 years, 29 years, I had a guy telling me I was unlovable, that nobody would ever want me, that kind of thing. So that it's hard to kind of wash that out. And but I'm starting to do that. And one thing I realized also too is that a lot of my customers wear the wedding ring on their right hand. And I don't want people to think I am doing that. So I got rid of the ring and I just have the migraine ring now. When the migraine ring is staying, I love this thing. So, in fact, I like it so much. I actually, they were doing a BOGO with it, and I gave the other ring to someone at work who has a lot of migraines, and hopefully it'll help her. So, because I only need the one ring, and it should last a long time. I just like take it off if I'm like cleaning or cooking, and then or taking a shower, and then I put it back on, and it's fine at work too. So, but I just figured that no, I'll be honest, I figured nobody would want this package. That um, I know even pretty much 98% of the Christians I encounter, even evangelical Christians, think I am absolutely cuckoo for doing evangelism. I have mentioned before, I was texting with somebody very, very infrequently. We wouldn't communicate for months, and then he would text me out of the blue. We'd back and forth for a while, and then nothing. And the last time we talked, he said, "Oh, you're getting off soon. When are you going to get home?" And I said, "Well, it'll be a couple hours." And he said, "What?" I said, "Yeah, every night I do a couple of hours of outreach on the bus going home." And that was the last time I heard from him. But I'm starting to think now there may be someone out there who is supportive of this, which would be awesome. Because Ron was not supportive of me doing any kind of evangelism. We fought constantly about it because that's basically the one place I stood up to him is that I told him basically, I'm going to serve God, and then I'm going to take care of you, and in that order. And he didn't like it, but I think he understood on some level that if I wasn't so committed to God, I would have left him a long time ago. But God told me I had to stay. Kind of like my job situation, that God wants me there as a service to him. So I'll do it for Jesus. I'm not doing it for $14.89 an hour, that's for sure. But oh, good at breaking up. So yeah, I woke up. I went to bed like 12:30. I woke up at like 5 with a headache. I took the 12-hour Sudafed, the Excedrin, what I call it 4-hour mucus, but the generic 4-hour guiafenicin, an allergy pill just to kind of cover my bases. The Zyrtec. Now Zyrtec has an interesting effect on me, the generic, where about half the time it makes me hyper, and about half the time it makes me sleepy. It's making me hyper today, so hopefully that'll last because I volunteered to go in early. That's going to be very interesting. So, again, as led by the Holy Spirit, boss was right there, coach was right there, and I said, "Oh, I can come in early if you want." And she asked me a few questions, and yeah, so I'm coming in early. But so now do I think that I met somebody? It's too early to say. And if I do, he's going to have his own personal life, and that is going to stay out of here. So I won't be sharing much, most likely. So, but if I do meet somebody and he declares himself, I'll let you know. But I'm getting to where God is showing me that there are guys who would be in this. And I don't just mean my physical appearance. I mean who I am. And that's one thing that I find very sad about my marriage, is that Ron always wanted me to change to make him happy, that he wasn't happy with who I was. And I am a different person. I have a different mind. I have a different outlook on things. I have a scary commitment level to Jesus. Now, what I read, what Jesus says, is that I need to love my enemies, pray for those who persecute me, be a light in the darkness. You are the light of the world, and that kind of thing. So I'm completely harmless, but unless you're like involved with dark forces, then we're gonna have some spiritual beef there. But I'm not a threat to anybody. But I just hear love on people, basically. And I mean, I don't even think I can convey that. I don't think it was until the last 9 months or so with Ron that he really loved me for who I was and appreciated me for who I was. And he said so several times, that he really valued my service to him, and that he that I didn't know how much it meant to him when I kept him out of a nursing home. He got to stay home with his cat and die in peace. I know that. if there's anything coming from the Lord for that, then I'll take it. But I'm not looking for reward. It says in Luke 17:10, when you've done this, say, we are unprofitable servants, we've only done our duty. And that's it. I only did my duty. And even with all the outreach, I'm just doing my duty. This is just my assignment. I'm filling my assignment. I'm not anything special. I'm just a very broken person who's saved by grace, and I have experienced such an amazing love from God that I want to share that with people. I want to pass the light around. That's all. And I've been the person working with the public. I've been on the bad end of that. And I know how hard it is to work with the public these days. And that's why I have a special heart for people who do work with the public, the retail worker, the bus driver, the restaurant worker, all that, But I have a heart for them, and God's given that to me, and that's all from God. That's not anything I do. I'm not anything special. I'm just, I'm just trying to do my job, and the head is feeling better, so that's good. But I'll be okay at work today, which is good. I'm going to be very, very careful what I eat the next couple weeks. Tax-free weekend ends August 9th, so I have a couple weeks. So, but and I'm steady losing. So I'm down on 163 yesterday. Oh, and let me show you my foot. So the other day I had a little bit of the ITB in my leg, which is the connection, the connected band that runs from the outside of your hip to the outside of your knee. It was a little, generally that will act up for me when I do a Bible handout. So I try to jump the gun and do arnica for a day or two after a handout, and that is very, very helpful in getting ahead of the pain. And but it was acting up a couple days ago, so I was taking some arnica, oral arnica, and then day before yesterday, I woke up early like I did today, and I was organizing the kitchen. I got all the canned food put up. I'm very happy with how that looks. And I dropped a can on my foot, and it hurt a lot. And for, I don't know, 20 minutes or so. And, it faded off, and then I went to work, and I didn't really think about it. I was working all night. I was fine. I came home, and I took my sock off, and I saw this. And this is 2 days out. And yesterday, it looked so bad. It was just this huge purple thing. And I took a couple pictures of it. And every single person who saw the picture, I sent the text to a couple family members, and I showed the picture to my boss. And they were just freaking out. Did you break it? Are you okay? It didn't hurt. It didn't hurt at all. And yesterday morning when I saw this, I thought, you know what? That needs some more arnica. So I've been doing that. I'm doing the oral arnica and then putting the roll-on arnica on the ITB and the foot. And very little pain. So the ITB is it's like a little tightness. But the foot doesn't hurt at all, which is great because I do a lot of time. I do not have a sit-down job at Walmart. Let me put it that way. And that foot can hurt. So it didn't hurt at all. So that was a huge blessing from God. And it looks so much better today. It should be 100% by tomorrow. I do want to do some kind of Bible handout this week. I need to seek God's will on that because I want to be going in His power, not mine. More than once, I've gone and did a handout that I thought was a good idea, and I didn't run into trouble, but it wasn't fruitful. And one time, I remember I was on the meeting, and it was 2:49 in Antoine. I don't remember when exactly. And I just said, Lord, I went out in my own strength today, and that was the wrong thing to do, and I'm sorry. And if you could just redeem this and help me to reach some people, I'd appreciate it. I'm just going to be out here for another hour or so, and then I'm going to go home. And that hour was crazy productive. So, God can redeem things, and that's why I have no problem giving the gospel to some middle-aged, addicted, homeless person, because God can redeem that and use that person in a mighty way. If they can surrender to Him. And so, I made sure that everyone knows I'm available. That's about as far as I'm willing to go right now. I've adjusted my thinking. I'm definitely okay with dating. Now, am I going to go looking? No, but if God puts someone in front of me, I'm not going to look away either. So, anyways, that is it. Sunday morning, 5 a.m. thoughts.